Right now, somewhere between your inbox and your to-do list, you probably feel like you don't have enough time. You tell yourself it was worse before, that your ancestors spent every waking moment fighting to survive. But the real answer is far stranger. Your ancestors may have had more free time than you do. Think about your day. You wake to an alarm. You commute. You work. You handle chores and messages. If you're lucky, 2 or 3 hours in the evening actually belong to you. And in the back of your mind sits a comforting story. Before farms and cities, life was a desperate scramble. Hungry people chasing animals, always one bad day from starvation. That story feels true. It is also mostly wrong. In the 1960s, an anthropologist named Richard B. Lee went to live with the Jew/Huansi people of the Kalahari Desert. They were hunter-gatherers, living much as humans had for tens of thousands of years. Lee followed them with a notebook and counted their working hours. The result? The average adult spent roughly 17 to 19 hours a week acquiring food. Add tool-making and camp chores, and everything combined came to about 40 hours a week. Not 40 hours of work plus commuting plus life admin. 40 hours total. What did they do with the rest? They rested, they talked, they told stories, visited relatives, played games, and napped through the hottest hours. When Lee asked one man why his people never took up farming, the man answered with a question. Why should we plant when there are so many mongongo nuts in the world? In 1966, the anthropologist Marshall Sahlins called hunter-gatherers the original affluent society. His argument turned wealth inside out. There are two roads to affluence: produce more or want less. Modern economies chose the first road. Hunter-gatherers chose the second. Their needs were limited, their means were sufficient, and so they had everything. So what changed? Farming. You were taught agriculture was the great leap forward. But when archaeologists compare skeletons of early farmers to the hunter-gatherers before them, the farmers look worse. Shorter, rotten teeth, bones marked by strain, malnutrition, and new diseases from livestock. And here is the twist. Farming did not reduce work. It multiplied it. The anthropologist James Sussman, who spent decades with the Jew/Huansi, argues that agriculture rewired the human relationship with time. Hunter-gatherers lived in the present because the land restocked itself. Farmers had to live in the future because everything depended on the next harvest. Scarcity became a permanent state of mind. Does that sound familiar? It should. You inherited it. Maybe you think their bodies paid the price their schedules didn't. The evolutionary anthropologist Herman Poncer measured the daily energy use of the Hadza, hunter-gatherers in Tanzania, who walk, climb, and dig every day. The result was astonishing. The Hadza burn roughly the same calories per day as office workers in Europe and America. The difference is not how much energy your life consumes, it is what it consumes it on. Their calories go into walking and socializing under an open sky. Yours go into stress hormones and shallow sleep. So what were ancient humans actually doing all day? The things your brain still craves. Hours of conversation, stories around fires, where daytime talk about food and plans gave way to myth and imagination at night. They played, adults and children alike, because there was no line between work and everything else. A hunt was also a walk with friends. Gathering was also gossip. And they rested without guilt. When camp had enough food, people stopped acquiring more. The land itself was the pantry. You get what you need, you share it, and you trust tomorrow. Sharing wasn't charity, it was insurance. Compare that to your world, where everything you do today is a bet on a future payoff. Always investing, always deferring, always slightly behind an imaginary schedule. That posture is not human nature. It is agricultural nature, barely 12,000 years old, running on hardware built to live in the present. Don't idealize the past. You would never trade your medicine or your child mortality rates for theirs. But you can steal from them. You can notice that enough is a real quantity, not a moving target. You can treat conversation, rest, and play not as luxuries you haven't earned, but as the default state of your species. The thing all the work was supposed to protect. Because the next time you feel like you don't have enough time, remember what that feeling really is. A 12,000-year-old habit of mind, whispering that you must always do more. You started this thinking you have less time than the people who came before you. The strange truth is that you have exactly as many hours as they did. They just never learned to feel poor inside them.